Welcome back on the AM show. As we get into our big stories, we focus first off on that tragedy that struck the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, on Friday, March the 21st, when that devastating fire ravaged the Adum PZ market, leaving more than 2,000 traders reeling from the loss of their livelihoods. The fire consumed several shops, sparking outrage, concern, and calls for urgent action to prevent a repeat of that disaster. Well, 3 weeks after the misfortune, the traders have returned to their trading spaces, but the conditions that led to the fire still persist, setting the stage for a potential second catastrophe. In the first edition of Joy News' feature, Breaking the Fire Cycle, Adum visited the market and filed this report.
They're still coming in. This is the Kumasi Central Markets in the Ashanti region, and the PZ area also affected.
Things are burning. People who have shops here, including the youth, are losing their money.
It was around 4 a.m. The fire engulfed several shops here at the Adum PZ Arena. Over 2,000 traders affected, leaving the bustling market bare. But as the traders returned to make sales, many of them occupying their tables and doing their usual job, do we have to fear for another catastrophe? In this feature, we engage the traders, relevant authorities to ask questions as to the measures being put in place to avert a reoccurrence.
It was like any other Friday dawn at the Adum PZ market in Kumasi until a sudden alarming sight turned the commercial area into a scene of chaos. The fire started at 4 a.m. with an explosion from the top floor of a story building. Within minutes, the flames spread rapidly across the market, consuming shops and goods in its path. I have lost millions of cedis from this fire this morning. This is very worrying. We are losing everything. We need the fire service to come to our aid right now. Everything is burning. Everything is burning. The arrival of firefighters was a moment of hope for those witnessing the blazing fire, but the situation quickly turned grim. Access of the fire tender to clustered container shops was severely restricted due to the market's crowded layout. Without proper paths for the fire trucks to reach the epicenter of the blaze, the fire quickly spread unchecked. In the aftermath, thousands of traders were left without their wares, and the market lays in ruins.
Fire service, it's been doomed. Because I know helicopter. You man, I can never doom jano. But that helicopter, got a fire service to pay for the home. I cried the same thing. A fire service, oh helicopter, or the door. When I'm not phone here. Fire service, I told you, if I'm coming war, headquarters, I told you, I will go. That's why I'm coming. I can't say by
With investigations ongoing, the traders pieced together the potential causes of the blaze, and among the primary suspects are the use of gas cylinders, faulty electrical appliances, and the intermittent power cuts.
So you guys, and also
some people they have collected so many loans. Please, why is it that the fire service you cannot just off the fire for us? Why?
It's difficult, they say, because it's spreading rapidly.
Oh, why? The fire is very massive. It started around 6 o'clock in the morning. They came here around 8 o'clock. Why?
The billowing smoke and the crackling sounds of burning structures could be seen. The fire's intensity was overwhelming. President John Mahama and local authorities visited the scene, worried about the outbreak. He called for swift investigation, but pleaded for steps to be taken to avert a reoccurrence.
I will see a share in near send a basis in your mafa, send a bay a BBC and Cosisa at Chinambium. Yejina, hey, what to make to explosion be a cause of ne nyinaa yɛ gas cylinders sɛ wate baako ne nyinaa yɛ gas cylinders a explode.
We have to learn from this to plan our market well. I have spoken to Adum to help the traders for the meantime. We have to carefully look at our market structure. The sounds we hear are explosions of gas cylinders. We shouldn't be cooking at the markets.
So gas cooker ne saa nneɛma ne nyinaa ɛka ho ɛna saa nneɛma esi. And so nea wɔ hɔ ne sɛ mɛma ɔmo a saa atɔre nkyɛn aka ɔmo no mɛma ɔmo ko sɛ.
The Ashanti Regional Commander of the Fire Service, ACFO2 Peter Tete, bemoaned the lack of equipment by fire service to curb fire. He indicated that over 417 fires have occurred in the first quarter of 2025.
Mr. Minister, one area of great concern is the use of over-aged fire appliances and obsolete equipment in the system. At the moment, 8 of our tenders at the following stations, Metro, Bremen, Meshia, Wadaso, Konongo, New Edubiasi, and Yenini, are all out of commission due to various mechanical faults. Comparative statistics of fires between 2024 and 2025 first quarter. Available data shows that the command has recorded 417 fires in the first quarter of 2025, as against 444 in the year 2024 within the same period.
3 weeks after the fire, many of the affected vendors have returned to the marketplace, hoping to restart their lives. We are waiting for the Asante Hini to come and make a determination as to whether or not we should occupy the land. But at the moment, we have gone to make sales because we need money to feed our children. However, checks indicates that the central business district of Adum PZ remains the same, overcrowded, poorly ventilated, and lacking any significant changes to prevent another fire.
3 weeks after, what do we see? Congestion is still seen here. The use of gas cylinders are still seen. But authorities are doing well to create a path to make sure that in future, when something of this sort happens, the fire service would come in swiftly to control the fire. But these two factors are huge and they must be controlled.
The use of gas cylinders and faulty electrical appliances in close proximity and the high pressure temperature persist in the closest market, which is the railway market, despite attempts to create a path to avert a reoccurrence.
Now, this is the Adum Railways market, very close to the Adum PZ market. This place, although close to the affected area, was able to survive the fire. But according to President John Mahama, it is time for us to act now and restructure our market. When he came here, he blamed the use of gas cylinders and other cooking materials or equipment as another cause for the outbreak or a possible cause for the fire outbreak. What do we see? Traders continue to sell here. Traders inside this railway market continue to use gas cylinders to prepare their food. Another catastrophe expected to happen in no time.
In an already cramped market, these conditions form a ticking time bomb, one that many say is waiting to explode again. Some traders in the market have fears, with some avoiding certain areas where the fire could reignite due to the unsafe conditions. Authorities have to put measures in place to make sure that we avert a reoccurrence. We need helicopters to be provided for the National Fire Service. In such situations, the helicopter is the best alternative. The Adum PZ is indeed a wake-up call. The tragic event not only exposed the hazardous conditions of the markets, but also highlighted the glaring gaps in fire prevention infrastructure and safety protocols. While traders, government officials, and experts call for swift action, the reality is that these issues have persisted for years. The hope is that this tragedy will finally prompt the necessary changes to safeguard lives and businesses in Kumasi and other markets across the country.
As many of these traders who are affected by the Adum PZ fire continue to sell their goods amidst lingering fear for another outbreak, they remain united in their call for swift action to avert a reoccurrence. But the question remains, would government and other relevant agencies act swiftly to avert a reoccurrence? Time will tell, but the clock keeps ticking. For Joy News, my name is Nana Adum, Kumasi.